UK, hardly will you see a family that does not have a cancer patient, which is not something that is common in this part of the world. Okay, all manner of you know, and they just mention the names of these diseases, and you're wondering where are they coming. And some people, I don't know if it is proven yet, or if it's actually a fact, but some people have the opinion that because they eat, you know, all these genetically modified, you know, food, you know, all these things that they just quickly put together, you know, to make, you know, cooking, to make food accessible and easy to get, easy to consume. So I want your comment on that. If I don't know if you have any information, okay, in that aspect of agriculture. Thank you.
It's actually an existential question. No one wants to die. That is why we are concerned. But I would like to say that if you think about cancer, the increase in the rate of cancer, not just overseas, in Nigeria, you understand, when you go to the hospitals, especially teaching hospitals, you will be surprised. It is not GMOs. It is a change in our eating pattern, a change in our lifestyle, without a corresponding change in the way we have to go about our exercise and so many things we do. I believe fufu, eba, pando, they are not meant for this generation, but we love them. When you eat that food, at times you can't move for some hours. That kind of food, they were meant for our father's generation. They eat, they go to farm, they walk, they trek for like 1 hour just to go to the farm. Where is that fufu that want to stay in the body and do 1 hour? They will beat the cancer out of the fufu. You understand? But now we eat, you sit under AC car, you understand? Then you get to the office, Netflix, it's gathering somewhere and it's coming for you. So our lifestyle actually have increased the risk. A nurse in UBTH told me that most of the cancer cases they have in UBTH, they are from Delta State and Bayelsa. So I was in Delta State, lodged close to the refinery. I sneezed and I saw that what came out was black. I cleaned my nose. It was all black, the soot from the refinery. And people live in these places, inhale this every day for decades. It's gathering somewhere, and you will see the result later. Now, I have done some quick research. This is from Cancer Research UK. There is no link between GMOs and cancer. In Australia, Cancer Council, same thing. In the US, FDA, same thing. There is no link whatsoever. The foods you eat, they are not modified in a way that will cause cancer, even to the animals that consume them or humans that consume them. But there are a lot of things we are doing today that are very risky. Apricot Doctor did a video I watched that some persons don't wait for 3 days for cassava to ferment to make fufu. They add detergent. So you are consuming fufu, detergent-laced fufu, and you are wondering where cancer is coming from. People get banana that was properly cultivated and add carbide to it, to ripen it. They do that to pineapple. And you are wondering where this thing is coming from. It's our wickedness that is bringing this disease, not when you do genetic, when you modify food genetically, you are actually very intentional. And many of this research, they are not available in Africa and overseas. There are a lot of eyes watching you. Even the animals you use for research, you have to get approval. You have to write the way you want to treat the animal. Otherwise, you'll be sued for animal rights, animal cruelty. You understand? They are so conscious and careful with the animals, how much more humans. But Nigerians, they can even use humans for the research. Nobody will ask questions. So there is no fear whatsoever. What I just want us to do is, a takeaway from here is, we need to respond to the change in time. My work is mainly sedentary, work from home most times, consulting, sitting with the computer, spending 8 hours. Before I knew it, I was weighing 109. And it was my doctor said, you need to crash this to 95. I registered in the gym and I started seeing changes. I stopped visiting the hospital frequently. So if you know that you are no more very physically active, you need to make some change. For every generation, when there is an innovation in technology, there is quantum leap in production.
Wow.
When we moved from cutlasses and hoes to tractor, we saw change and better food security.
Yeah.
Now we are not talking about vertical agriculture, precision agriculture. We use drone, we use digital soil mapping, and it's been beautiful.
Wow.
Before now, pests and some other conditions that humans thought were acts of the gods. They need to appease the gods of the land. There is no need to appease the gods because there are other ways to deal with the gods.
Ah.
So I think technology has helped us. We can now, how do you call it? We can now appease the gods digitally. There are still a lot of ethical issues surrounding genetically modifying the food we eat. Yes. But there are products, there are plants that are growing well in Africa, we are already consuming. For example, in Nigeria, there is a drought-tolerant maize for Africa.
Wow.
Nigeria grows that. So in places where you have very limited water supply, this maize can survive.
Wow.
In the Philippines and as well as India, I guess, they have the issues of malnutrition because they consume a lot of rice. And when you go through the processing of rice, most of the vitamin A is lost in the process. So through genetically modifying food, there is now what we call the golden rice.
Wow.
That ensures that there is a lot of vitamin A to address the issue of malnutrition. So basically, we have been able in agriculture through the use of technology to develop plants that are drought resistant, pest resistant, because if a crop, for example, is pest resistant, it means you will not have need for chemical pesticide. And that also is a danger to human health, right? And it reduces the cost. The money you would otherwise have spent in purchasing this pesticide, manpower, and all that. So you see, technology is addressing some of these issues, and we are very grateful for that. Farmers are still afraid, and it is natural. So farmers are afraid, but the fear is still good. The optimists believe that iron can fly, and he developed airplane, isn't it? The pessimists believe that this thing can fall down and develop parachutes, isn't it? And today it's safer for us. So it's good we have people who are afraid, who are conscious, who will raise alarm. That will also push the developers, the innovators to say, yes, let's be concerned about this sentiment. So, but as at today, do your research. You have smartphones. I just checked that out right now. I was looking at the cancer councils and all that across the globe, and they are all saying the same thing. Do your research. There's nothing to worry.
Thank you.
Humans are actually consuming the rice. You might have eaten the rice, perhaps in Czech Republic or one of those places you have visited. The Bible says, ask no question for conscience sake. So, it's true that when something is new, most of us, we are afraid of new things. For many persons, you want someone else to try it, so that if the person will die, you run. But you see, the people who develop these products, they have one thing in mind. They want to make profit. It's true that some persons are so concerned about profit and not the health of people. But you see, when you kill everybody in this world, who will buy the things you are selling? You understand? In our place, there is an adage that the debtor lives long because the creditor has to pray for the debtor, isn't it? Yeah, these people, they actually want you to live long. They want you to be a regular customer. And they are addressing real problem. In India, for example, there are technologies there for the farmers to make more money. There are technologies even in Africa. Here in Nigeria, the Consultative Group for International Agricultural Research developed a mobile app, Plant Village Nuru. With that app, farmers can easily predict the disease that is most likely coming to their plant from the very first sight. And they know that this is armyworm coming, and they mitigate it. You don't need to wait for it to be full blown, destroy your crop before you know. And some of these things, I tell you, from an agricultural extension background, they are the chunk of the people. They are slow adopters. Even the farmers, they are very scared. They will say, this thing you are bringing, you want to kill our children and all that. So they will watch when others are now making a lot of money. Perhaps there is something in this. And you see the late adopters. The truth is, there is nothing to be worried about. Where we have fear in terms of genetically modified food, you know the size of it, tomatoes, small, usually smaller than an apple. And you see another tomato that's bigger than watermelon. You have reasons to be afraid, because you can tell that from the intention of this development, the person is more conscious about making profit. Because if you have tomatoes not big like watermelon, it means if you are making sachet tomatoes, you are going to make a lot of it. So if I give you that tomatoes to cook, you'll be scared, isn't it? Yeah, that's where the concern is. But when you see, before now, when you hear health people speak, they tell you that the best way to eat rice is not to remove the shell, because you lose the vitamin A. It's true, many things will lose them. And now they are asking the question, how can we ensure we retain this vitamin A? So they are not adding something new. They are not adding something that will destroy you. This is not plastic rice. It's just like before now, your salt is not as good as it used to be. And you have people having goiter. Now most of the salt you see now, you see vitamin A fortified salt. They've added something to that salt you used to consume. But we have not died, but you see the incidence of goiter has reduced, so there is no fear.